Vanessa, hey, congratulations on the fourth season of Cobra Kai.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
It is so exciting to start the new year right with the show like this, isn't it?
Totally. Absolutely. The reception has been amazing. And, kind of a little bit, I have to admit, I sometimes have to not watch it because I just need to process it. So like the 31st going into the first, I was like, okay, you're not going to watch anything. You're not going to go on Netflix. And then afterwards I did, and then, allowed it to sort of wash over me. It's great. The reception has been wonderful and the fans are amazing.
That is great to hear. I'm curious, as a person who is on the show yourself, how do you watch a show like this? Do you kind of like watch it with friends, watch it one episode at a time, binge it? How do you handle this?
It's funny. Each season is a little different. When season three came out, I binged it. I binged it hard. Like I was just like, and there's something about the music. The music is so great, but the ending credits music, gets you pumped for the next episodes. I'd be like, watch it. But this season, I'm taking my time. I saw it in September, and I was like, wow, this is my favorite season so far. And then since then, I've been slowly rewatching it as a fan.
Now, of course, as we progress from each season, from season one, season two, season three, and now season four, you've been bumped into a series regular for the series. How does that feel? It come, not being that side character now you're being part of the main story.
Yeah, it feels amazing. It was also about time. I was like, okay, yeah, it's about time. It's been wonderful, honestly, and to be able to delve into the character more and to spend time. I mean, basically, it translates into being able to spend more time on set, build the relationships with your coworkers, co-stars, and that feeds into the creativity of your character creation and the development of the whole show, because you can see, the trust between actors and the friendships that build. So it's been wonderful, and I'm really happy it happened.
Well, then tell us the chemistry that you first built up with William throughout these seasons.
I always say that we got really lucky because I didn't have a chemistry read with William. Neither, we didn't at all. We didn't meet each other until we were on set together filming some of those first scenes in season one, primarily the ones where he's bringing back Carmen's son, Miguel, from getting beat up at the Halloween dance. And they meet each other in these kind of weird circumstances. So that was our first time meeting each other and working with each other. And I think we just got off on the right foot, because the first scene I had with William was those scenes, and he had to come to Carmen's door and basically like plead for her to continue, for him to, hi kitty, to continue to teach her son. So he was like just like pouring out, like all this vulnerability. And I was just like there, as a fellow actor, being there, present with the moment. So I think based on that, we're able to, we just got off on a really good trust and vulnerability footing as actors. So each season, we've just been able to dig into that more, know that we trust each other in the moment more, and discover and just have fun along the way. And Billy's great. I think I'm lucky, and I tell him all the time, I'm like, thank you. I feel very lucky that I'm paired up with you.
Now, being a supporting character at the beginning, this romance between Carmen and Johnny has been taking place slowly through four seasons. Finally, we can make it official. I mean, does this slow development of romance help you as an actor?
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, I think that's one of the most beautiful things of the show, and clever too, that nothing is directly given to you. it's always a circuitous route that they take. I was super frustrated reading the scripts for season 4 because I was like, when are Daniel and Johnny gonna put their differences aside? So I think that's the element that they keep you wanting more. They keep you wanting these things to happen. But as characters, they're flawed and they have their shortcomings, as any good character does. So you get to see them have to evolve themselves in order to get this prize or the thing that we're rooting for them to have. So I think in the case of Johnny and Carmen, we're rooting for them to have a romance together, but they're an older couple. They've been through life experiences. They've both been hurt and burned before, and Johnny is coming into his own maturity, later in life. So it's like we go on that journey with them. And for them in particular, I think it's a very relatable story because it's a second chance love story. And I think it's just such a lovely story to tell because they're both, they want it so badly, but they know that they have to sort of take care of things in their personal lives to be able to come together fully, especially Johnny, right? I think Carmen's pretty set. She's pretty like, this is who I am. I'm going to give you everything once you come into your own and are worthy of me, basically. So we get to see Johnny working towards that.
So how do you get into that mindset of seeking romance as a single mother? I mean, that's a total mindset that normally from single people or married people, or and so on.
I mean, I think it has to be rooted in reality, right, for it to work and to be relatable. So, I mean, I love Carmen's character so much. I just I feel her emotions and her realities so much. But what became apparent to me is that she's the type of character who's in denial a lot of her feelings. She has them, they're very strong, but sometimes she's like, oh no, that's not the best choice. So like her mind and her heart kind of have to go through this dance. But I think it's very relatable because when, real romance, real love, real feelings show themselves, a lot of the times as humans, we're scared of them. We're not running towards the edge of the cliff to jump off immediately. We're really asking a lot of questions. We're doubting, we're, investigating. It's a scary thing. So with her character in particular, I really enjoyed exploring those other sides, the not obvious sides, the perhaps she really doesn't like him at first, which she doesn't. She distrusts him. She doesn't talk highly of him. And then, those strong feelings get to reveal themselves as, oh, I really like you, so it's relatable.
Well, moving on past a little bit of romance side, as a single mother for Carmen, her son, Miguel, comes back beaten up all the time. How would you, if you would rate or criticize Carmen as a mother, or would you? I guess she was trying her best, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can't ever really criticize your character too much. You just have to go on the journey with them and see all their mistakes while they're happening and feel them while they're happening. That's part of the beauty of it. I think she's doing her best. She's honestly doing her best. But along the journey, I think it's been really lovely to see and feel out where she has noticed her shortcomings, where she's slowly allowing Johnny to be basically a co-parent with her. And that takes a lot of trust. That takes a lot of moments of starting, stopping, and mistakes happening. So I think it's a nice journey for her because she has to admit that she needs help from an outside source and to be able to trust it and allow it to change her.
One of the biggest factors about this show is obviously diversity, and you coming from a Latina Hispanic background and get to speak a little Spanish yourself. How is this so relevant for you and so proud for you that they're slowly incorporating this?
Wonderful. And I think this story is particularly lovely as well because it's one of integration. It's not a complete Latino cast where the Diaz family is on its own, but I think they have a rich life to them and history to them and identity. So they're just kind of like, in my mind, existing on their own. They're just like, like, and then they're like pulled into this larger story. And their dynamic is so beautiful to me and so relatable. Just as a Latina myself, growing up in a household that was similar in a lot of ways, which I pull from as an actor. It's just been wonderful, really. It has been, and yeah, there are some times where I'm like, well, she would say it in Spanish in this case, because she's very emotional in this scene or something. So she would say to her son, like, oh, like the pre-prom scene, like, te ves tan hermoso, because like she's talking to her son, she would say it in Spanish in that instance. So, yeah.
So how did you develop the chemistry with Sholo on all these years? I mean, it's quite different from doing it with William.
Yeah, totally. I mean, Sholo, when we started out, was 17 or 16, but he was still, having to go to school on set. So there's certain protocols that we have to do, like they have to do their scenes first because they have a limited number of hours they could be on set. So our time together was a little limited at first, but I mean, growing into 4 or 5 seasons now, we've been able to, it's been wonderful too, to see him grow into, all the things he's becoming, and he's always been so wonderful. But to see him growing into his own and his curiosity, and it's really nice to be able to just spend time together and talk offset and be silly and get to know each other in these ways that are apart from the work, that we do together as the characters.
So let's be honest. Do you know anything about karate?
Haha, I do. I do. Well, Carmen's character, unfortunately, doesn't get to even throw a punch. I'm really hoping that she does eventually. But I took karate when I was younger, made it all the way to high brown belt. Didn't want to take the test for the black belt. I think I was intimidated, and I was also pretty young. But I was always told that my sidekick was really good. So I think I could still throw a really good sidekick.
So when you finally got the word that you were going to be part of this Karate Kid series, what was your initial reaction?
I mean, wonderful. As an actor, you're always like, yes, like this is great. At the time, it was going to be on YouTube, so we didn't really know the iteration that it would take on, the what kind of a show it would be, the tone, all that stuff. So I think we all came in with like, well, we don't know what this is going to be, but let's do our best. And then when we saw the first season, at least when I saw the first season, I was like, this is amazing. There's no other show like this with this tone and this sense of humor. So I was really excited when it came out. I was super excited.
Now, I have a weird note to ask you. I know, part of it, sometimes publicists like to push it, but you did a cross country trek yourself in journal. Can you tell us what that experience was like? Just out of curiosity. I never did it myself, so especially you did it during the pandemic. Is that what it was?
I did it twice during the pandemic.
Twice. Wow.
Yeah. I moved from New York to LA, and I did that trek, and then going to Atlanta to shoot season 5, I did it again. It's wonderful. It's great. It's a wonderful way to get out of your head and to just get into motion of living, of discovering new towns and cities and cultures. Like within this country, we have so many different things going on, and each city has its own flavor. So coming this way, I was really excited to explore Sedona, Arizona. Beautiful, wonderful place with a lot of rich indigenous history and feeling that I palpably felt there. And then continuing on to Santa Fe and through Oklahoma, like wonderful. Just you get to really feel different places when you go through them and get out of your, comfort zone. There is a level of uncomfortability to traveling across the country. I mean, yeah, you got to be okay using restrooms along the way, let's say. But that's part of the magic of it. You put yourself in a little bit of an uncomfortable zone to discover new parts of yourself.
So you are definitely an explorer, a person who has that wanderlust.
Yeah, I do.
That is terrific. Now, I do want to ask the question because Cobra Kai has a very, very strong fan base, and you were also part of a series called Sabrina, which also has another different fan base. How do you balance these type of fan bases for yourself and sometimes be recognized, probably not in person, but like on the internet?
Well, it's like it's a new experience, and each time. It certainly with Sabrina, I didn't know what to expect. That was my first time sort of exploring an experience like that with the fan base who was really dedicated to the show. So in that instance, I felt more like a visitor, honestly, because my character wasn't there throughout all the seasons, but it played a pretty cool element. So that one was really awesome, really wonderful, lovely. I mean, one of the most family-like sets I've ever been on. And Kiernan Shipka, who's, leading that show, was amazing. And then to be on Cobra Kai and to see Cobra Kai, sort of taking off into that realm was another one where it's just like, and then of course in Cobra Kai, I feel more like a family member, more like, you're in it, but it has such a long history to it. And Ralph and Billy heading that, and Marty too, these characters who have been with this story for a long time. We kind of get to, at least in my case, learn from them and learn how to treat this story with as much care and love and grow alongside with it. And just kind of learn from these guys because they've been with it for so long.
Do you enjoy when you're starting to get that consistency on like a television show rather than like being like in films along the way?
Oh, absolutely. I think, well, every actor is different, but in terms of myself, I was always wanting a show to feel like a permanent thing, to feel like a semi-permanent thing, and to also feel like a family. It was one of the goals that I had, honestly. I was like, I want my work family to feel like a family. And I got it. I really did. I got a really good one.
Do you still have dream roles on your bucket list for yourself? Could you tell us?
Oh, totally. I want to play some sort of a superhero. You got to have some sort of superhero in your repertoire, right? Some with mutant powers or something. I'm a big fan of X-Men. And I did a Western, an episode of Dolly's Heartstrings on Netflix. And I have to say, I fell in love with the whole Western world. Big body characters, horse riding, guns. I mean, but in this, way of like grittiness. And really, I fell in love with that. So I really hope that I do a Western too.
Well, who knows? Your career is still young, so
yeah,
maybe a few more cross-country trips. Who knows?
True.
So I know the season 4 left us off on a big cliffhanger, but it kind of previews that you're going to have a much bigger role in the future. How exciting is that for you?
It's really exciting. In terms of like, I'm always rooting for Carmen and Johnny, and you know, part of, I think, Carmen's desire is to have a family, is to build this family, you know? So I'm really rooting for that to happen. I don't know if it will. I can't say either, but for my part, I'm rooting for that.
Well, one last thing before I let you go, Vanessa. One of the greatest things that I actually I don't know if many people actually paid attention, was that Carmen was revealed to be Ecuadorian.
Yeah.
On the show, which to me was great, because I have a goddaughter who lives in Quito, Ecuador. So I just want to know, is like, how familiar are you? Because I think you're like Colombian yourself.
I am, and you hear my dog barking.
Yeah.
Let me hold on. I am Colombian. My parents are both Colombian. They both came here in their early 20s. So I'm a first generation, I guess you would say. And yeah, I was born and raised in New Jersey. And it's wonderful. You know, it's wonderful to be able to tell a story that I know about. I mean, that wasn't directly coming from another place like my parents were, but learning through experience, learning through just being an observant artist, actor, child, you know, I pull from those things.
Have you been back to Colombia in a while?
Oh yeah, I mean, growing up, that was our vacation. Every summer or every other summer, we'd go back. And so I learned about traveling pretty young, and family, and you know, going to another country, basically, of a yeah, pretty different country at the time. Yeah, that was all built into my life experience. Absolutely.
That is terrific to hear. I've never been to Colombia myself. The farthest north was just Esmeralda in Ecuador, but so I'm not quite sure the differences between Ecuadorians and Colombians. All I know is that I don't think I will ever try to eat a cuy again. So
eat a what?
A cuy. It's like some kind of like guinea pig.
Oh yeah, that's
yeah. So obviously, it's not a Colombian culture.
Not that I know of. Not that I know of.
Not until they write it into a part for Carmen on the show.
I know, but if I do ever go to Quito or Ecuador, I will definitely blog about it, write about it, because it would be a really nice way to pay tribute, you know, to the heritage story of Carmen.
Absolutely. Well, anyways, Vanessa, hey, it's a pleasure speaking with you. Once again, congratulations for the 4th season of Cobra Kai. And thank you also talking about other stuff, more about yourself and Sabrina.
Thank you. Thank you for asking me those questions and for doing this interview.
Hey, thank you. Next time.
All right. Bye. See you next time.